What better day to record this program on the 45th anniversary of the first State of Origin game? It changed the rugby league landscape forever. And on tonight's program, we're going to look at the State of Origin decider tomorrow night. Who'll coach the Kangaroos in the Ashes series? We'll review NRLW and NRL from the last round and also look at the next round's games. A very good evening to Paul Dalligan.
Good evening, Professor. How are you? I'm still a bit sore from my giraffe guarantee. I'm very proud of my guarantee, as you know. And was it Confucius who once said, "Man should not ring in bell in origin time"? But I did, and I got it wrong. But I'll put the hand up and own it, and on to hopefully greener pastures.
Well, 45 years ago today, Paul, they played the first State of Origin game. Who would have thought that it would have got to such a level as it is today?
Well, they would have, and you've only got to look, with no disrespect to the AFL, who's tried the Origin concept, but there simply isn't that level of passion. I mean, the one I found very interesting is Victoria against everyone else. So we're all united because we're not Victorians. I don't know if that was the intention, but what we do have is a genuine sporting rivalry. Game two couldn't have gone much better for those that run the game. I did predict it would happen, and it did. So here we go with a game three, and the television ratings could set all-time records, particularly given what's happened emotionally, which we'll talk about with Cameron Munster's father, which is tragic. But it's going to be amazing tomorrow night.
The New South Wales team taking a bit of a gamble, I think, Paul. They're carrying a couple of players who taking injuries perhaps into this game. Brian To'o's been past fit to play. That surprises me. Payne Haas has hardly been able to train because of his back. And Cleary, the groin issue, will allow him to kick in general play, but not goals. So that might still be a problem.
Well, the irony is they're the opposite of what they used to do. The pick and stick they're doing now. So they're sticking with the class players, hoping that they'll prevail. But if there's one forum you don't want to be carrying an injury into, it's Origin. I was a bit worried that To'o would have seen more bombs than Dresden in the Second World War in the last game. You're going to see more this game. So I'm very concerned that if he's carrying anything, he's going to be a real risk on the bomb department.
Queensland, as we talked about last week, Shibasaki into the side, Papali and the Hammer moved back to full back. Two of the biggest try scorers in the current season, Paul. The Hammer has scored 15, Shibasaki with 12. That's a lot of firepower.
It is, but I'm more concerned about Queensland defensively. I would not want to be stopping Crichton and Mitchell unless I was holding a well-armed elephant gun. Those two are just absolutely barnstorming. And I'll tip it now. Latrell Mitchell is about to break out and break loose, whatever phrase you want to use. I pray for the two of those Queensland players trying to defend both of those players who are in career best form.
New South Wales need to steer clear of two things, Paul. Number one, penalties. Number two, make their conversions.
Well, they do. And Lomax, I did hear interviewed saying he's striking them well. Sometimes you just have an off day and that's or off night. That's what happened in game two. He's a class player, and I think that he'll be potting the goals tomorrow night. I don't think that will happen again. I'd call that an anomaly.
Can Queensland strangle the New South Wales attacking game for the second game in a row, Paul?
No, I don't think so. And I think also that the risk is Munster, and it's been an emotional week for him. I just don't know if he'll have his head right, which is completely understandable. What New South Wales would have done, even if it wasn't for the tragic events, is focus their attentions on him. Tom Dearden, I don't think, is a game breaker. So it's going to come down to whether Harry Grant can own this game. So I think if Queensland's going to win, it'll be Harry Grant man of the match, but I don't think it will happen.
Who's going to win and why, Paul?
New South Wales will win this game, I think 26-10. It's about as confident as I can get. I've looked at the lineups. There's too much rookie material. And as tragic as it is, I don't think emotion and Munster will get Queensland home, unfortunately, for their very loyal fans.
Well, as you said, there might well be TV records for viewers watching broken tomorrow night.
I think it'll hit the 5 million mark. It's just going to be amazing. And if you watch tomorrow night and don't enjoy it, there's not much more in rugby league you can see because it's going to be as good as it gets. to the point where I'm going to watch it at home with my two boys, not distracted, so that I'm not out in a public environment like last time, which I enjoyed, but I certainly couldn't really hear what was going on. I will tomorrow night.
The search for the Kangaroos coach is still on, Paul. Brad Fittler withdrew. Kevin Walters, Cameron Smith and Wayne Bennett all in the mix. Now, of course, Bennett to be the coach, there'd have to be a rule change because at the present time, if you're in clubland, you can't also be the coach of the national side.
Well, I never forget Craig Bellamy said that at the Storm there was a better coach than him, which surprised everyone, but it was Cameron Smith. So not only does he referee games, but he's a good coach as well. So Cameron Smith, if he wants it, will get it with Wayne Bennett as an assistant, the same way that Laurie Daly has Craig Bellamy in the back of his box as an assistant, and it's worked very well so far.
All right, Paul, let's look at round one of the NRLW for last week, and my Bulldogs. Their first game in the competition got off to a flyer and beat the Knights 26-12.
They did, and it was a great win. I think there was a couple of good wins. The Broncos smashed the Tigers, as we expected them to do well, and the Dragons, who we expected to do well, were very big winners over the Raiders. And the other team, I think, that's in the running to win it all, the Roosters, put paid to the Warriors debut. So some big wins in the women's game, and it was all very well integrated into the men's as well. So standalone, but also running seamlessly alongside the men's game, which I don't think the AFL can say.
An entertaining season opener, though, Paul. The Sharks 16, the Eels 18. It was a terrific game to kick it all off on last Thursday night.
Oh, it was a great game, and it's one for the fans of the game. It was really good to watch, and I think that Sharks team is going to look very good as the season comes to an end. Big chance. I think I tipped them to win it all.
And my tip for the Eels for the top six certainly looks good after that result.
It does, yeah. I think the Sharks will come back from that. I think the Eels perhaps overachieved, but we'll see how your tip goes. I think the Sharks, though, are going to be there at the business end.
Roosters 30, Warriors 6, Paul. Warriors reintroduced into the game. Wasn't a happy return.
No, it wasn't. And I saw Naividi there with 3 tries, and the best player in the game, Olivia Koenig, went over late for the Roosters, so she's one to watch. And they're good to see. They're good to see against some good crowds as well, and the viewer numbers are great on TV, I've noticed.
Round 18 in NRL, Paul. The Bulldogs 18, the Broncos 22. 16-0 to the Bulldogs at half-time. What happened in that second half? In fact, the Broncos scored 4 tries in 13 minutes, and we've been praising the Bulldogs for their defence all season.
It was just one of those results. I wouldn't mind us seeing the live price. It would have had to be at least $10, if not $20, on the Broncos at half-time. I had the bell out. It was all happening, and then the Dogs fell apart. It does make you question in some ways whether the addition of Galvin has been a masterstroke, or perhaps the very thing you didn't want is something that's definitely affected the momentum of the team. You've already got 2 legends of the team leaving with Sexton and Reid Marnie. You've got players playing out of position, and it's going to affect the salary cap in terms of buying players for next year. So some are querying it now, and even some are suggesting you should have some time in reserve grade, your superstar gun recruit. So I don't know. I'm not saying there's egg on Phil Gould's face. It's not something I'd recommend anyone suggesting, but it's going to take some time, I think, for this team to gel.
An improved performance by the Dragons. Paul saw a great game at Bruce Stadium. Raiders 28, Dragons 24. It was in doubt right till the end. Kyle Flanagan would keep some of his critics quiet. He scored half the Dragons' score, including a try.
And that was one of the issues after the game as well. And I think it's been unfair because he's not a natural halfback. He's playing there to fill in because others haven't performed or injuries. So I think he's doing quite a good job. And a lot of the attack is unfair on Kyle. The Raiders, by the way, are almost certainties to win the minor premiership. Who would have thought that at the start of the year?
And their speed demon fullback, Ko Weeks, scored a trio of tries, Paul. He is something to see, and a couple of those tries were amazing.
Well, he's not more unstoppable than Donald Trump at the moment. He just ran through everyone who tried to put a hand on him. So just phenomenal talent. And the fact he was let go by Manly, you'd want to ask Schooner what happened there. But it's just one that got away, and he's thriving at Canberra. And I've got to Tell you, there's a reason why the Raiders are second favourites to win it all. They're playing very, very well. Who's going to stop them?
Paul, the Storm showed just how flexible they can be. Nick Meaney came out of the centres and went to full back, scored 2 tries and scored 18 out of their 26 points to beat the Cowboys, who only scored 20.
He did, and an ex Dogs guy, so one that got away there. He's certainly Mr. Versatile. The Storm will need that type of thing whilst Origin's on, and players like Wishart as well will need to step up. Just a query on the Storm, though. If they're letting in 20 points to the Cowboys, I'm sure Craig Bellamy didn't enjoy that.
No, he wouldn't have, Paul. Now, the Roosters have got an excuse. They had plenty of players out with Origin duty, but still didn't expect the West Tigers to beat them 30-28.
No, I didn't. And the person that enjoyed that most was Benji Marshall, as he should have, because he's really got a lot of buy-in from his team. He's made some tough decisions. He's lost his prodigy in Galvin. But I think that he's unleashing. And it was first time ever, Professor, 3 brothers scored in one game.
That was going to be my next question to you, Paul. When had that ever happened before?
Never happened. No, Fayunu brothers. And Latu Fayunu could step right into the hole that Galvin left. So one door closes, another opens. In this case, barged open by Latu Fayunu. There's always been raps on him defensively as well. My word, he put some big hits on. So he's going to be one to watch. They're always entertaining, the Tigers, and they're going to be a team to watch as the season heads towards its finale.
Now, you spoke about Schooner before. The Sea Eagles at Fortress Brookvale took care of your Rabbitohs, Paul, 30-12. Tommy Turbo back in the action with a duo, and Ruben Garrick with 2 tries.
They looked in a different league, and I think there's got to be some questions about the Rabbitohs. As much as we're missing some players, we just looked inept. It was really bad. So I was expecting us to lose. I tipped us to lose, but I didn't expect such a showing like that. It was inept. I'll use that word again, Professor. It was terrible.
And terrible news for Brandon Smith. First game back after a lengthy spell out of the game with injury and hurts a knee again.
Yeah, no one wants to see that, and it's just really sad. But as Wayne Bennett says, you've got to next man up. So I'm disappointed with what's being shown by the Rabbits. They've got to find something, and very soon, or the season's going to be, it could even be wooden spoon stuff the way we're going. We've got to buy this week, but we'll see what happens from there.
Round 2 in the NRLW, Paul, starts Thursday night. A brilliant effort by the NRL again to organise a standalone game. No problems with the men because they won't be playing till Friday night. West Tigers 12th against my Bulldogs 5th. What are your thoughts about that game?
Oh, the Dogs should win that. I think the Tigers in both NRL men's and women are flashy, but I think that the class of the Dogs should prevail.
Yeah, the West Tigers found it hard to score. They only scored 4 in the first round, Paul, whereas the Dogs put 26 across the line. I agree with you there. Saturday at 12:45pm, the Raiders 10th playing the Sharks 7th. Head-to-head, the Sharks are 2-0. Can they bounce back and put a win on the board against the Raiders?
Yeah, I think they will. They've got the class there, and they're going to be a really good team to watch. I like watching the Sharks. I think they could go a long way, as I said earlier, to win it all this year.
Well, super Saturday, Paul, because three NRLW games and 3 NRL games. The 3:15 NRLW game, the Dragons 3rd playing the Roosters 2nd, probably the game of the round. Head-to-head, 6-2 with the Roosters leading, and the Roosters, I think, too much firepower.
They will. They're very short for a team against a team that's coming third after only one game, of course, but the Roosters should win it, I think, and win it quite well.
The 5:15 game, Paul, Cowboys 4th playing the Knights 8th. Head-to-head, they've both won game all, and interestingly, they've both won at the away ground.
Get your coin out and flip it, because that's a real flip of the coin stuff, that one. Nostradamus has given up as well on that, so I really don't know. You just pick a side, any side, we'll see what happens. You'd have to go maybe with the Cowboys at home.
NRLW, early game for those fans on Sunday, Paul, 11:50am. You've got to be up early to get this one. The Warriors playing over in Auckland, 11th against the Eels, 6th. They haven't played before, so anything could happen here.
Same as the last game, but I think the Eels might just have a bit too much class for the newcomers, the Warriors, but it would be good to see them win at home, particularly given the sad news. I think the Warriors and the men's side are pretty much done after losing their star halfback Metcalf. Just a tragedy. So it would be good to see the women do something across the ditch.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, Paul, because so far, or for the last few years, teams haven't had to worry about that. Now they're going to have to travel that distance. Who knows what it might do to the Eels?
Well, that's right. And we'll see what happens there. It would be good actually for the game if the Warriors got up. There is talk about another New Zealand team. So we'll see whether that's on the NRL's radar.
Wrapping up the round 2 of the NRLW, Sunday at 4 p.m, the Titans 9th against the Broncos, who are leading head-to-head. They're 2-all. Last year, the Broncos won 44-4. I could see that happening again tomorrow or on Sunday.
It looks like the Titans are pretty bad on both the men's and women's. And as we often say, we're yet to see a team do well on the Gold Coast. But if we cross codes briefly, I think the Suns are doing well in the AFL, but that's a different segment, different show. It doesn't look like we've got a successful Gold Coast team in the women's side either, given the prices for the match.
Round 19 of NRL kicks off Friday night at 8 o'clock. The Sharks, a very disappointing 10th, we might say, Paul, against the Dolphins, who are 7th. And the Dolphins have got all the try scorers. Now, head-to-head, the Dolphins have beaten the Sharks twice.
Yeah, I think the Sharks will rebound. They'll have to, or they'll lose track of this top 8. So I think the Sharks at home, particularly if the hammer doesn't back up on the 2-day backup, I think the Sharks will win this.
Saturday at 3 o'clock, Paul, the Knights 13th playing the Storm second away game for the Storm in a row. Head-to-head since 1998, they've played 48 times. The Storm have won 31-17. The Knights won last year, though, 14-12 at their home ground. Can you see them repeating that this year?
No, I can't. Not with a spine of Pappenhausen, Wishart, Hughes. He's not named to back up Harry Grant. I don't know if he will, but there's still Bronson Garlick's a good player. There's just too much class in that Storm team, even with the Origin missing. Jerome Hughes playing out of his skin. I think he'll get them home there at Newcastle. But it would be good to see the Knights, but I can't see it happening.
The 5:30 p.m. game, Paul, Dragons 11th playing the Roosters 9th. Who would have thought the Roosters would be in 9th position?
Well, they're playing well and they're storming home. I think that they'll get this done. The form player of the game has got to be Mark, and try and pronounce it with me, Noah Kinatuasi. He's just been playing out of his skin. And I can see the New South Wales jersey letter applies if that's a job role, having nightmares in years to come, because he's a bolter for the New South Wales team. He is in the mould of Crichton and Mitchell. And as you would have seen last weekend, almost unstoppable when he gets ahead of steam up close to the line. Defensively fantastic and a very smart player. So he's been one of the finds of the year. And I think that Sam Walker back as well. Roosters will win that.
The 7:35 p.m. nightcap game on Saturday night, Paul. The Cowboys 12th against my Bulldogs, who are 3rd. No Marcelo Montoya. He's out for at least 6 weeks, requiring surgery on a neck injury. I would have thought it might have been more than 6 weeks, but that's what they say. Galvin's back to the bench, and the Cowboys won both games against the Bulldogs last year, and they're going to North Queensland to play it.
Yeah, I think they did, and on the 3-day backup, I don't know if he'll take his spot, and he'll have to be tired. So with Burton, Sexton there, and Galvin on the bench, they've got to be specials, I think, the Dogs.
Sunday, 2 o'clock game, Paul. The Warriors in New Zealand, 4th, playing the West Tigers 14th. The West Tigers broke their 6 outs in a row. Head-to-head since 1998, the Warriors are leading 22-16. Already beaten the West Tigers 26-24 this year. Can they repeat the dose at home on Sunday?
I think that they will win the Warriors. I don't think the Tigers will get up. Jerome Luai be tired from Origin. I just think that they've got you got the hyphens there at the back five for the Warriors. You got Watani Zalesniak, you got Tabasa Sheck and Harris Tavita, all gun players. And then another hyphen, Fisher Harris in the forward pack. All 4 of them, I think, will get the Warriors home.
The 4:05 p.m. game, Paul. The Eels 15th, a very disappointing Eels side. The Panthers 6th. Now, at one stage, Paul, they were one ladder position away from each other, down at 16th and 17th. Now look how the difference just shows when you get on a bit of a run and you win some games.
Yeah, well, I see that Cleary's not named. I still think the Panthers will win, though. They've gone with Blaze Talagi and Brad Schneider. They're a chance, the Eels, so I wouldn't be rushing to back them. I think that the Panthers should win this. They've just got too much class across the park. They're storming home, the Panthers. It's wow, one of the stories of the season.
And the late game on Sunday night at 6:15, Paul, the Titans 17th, very disappointing, and the coach must be in real trouble against the Broncos, who are surging 5th. Who would have thought that just 5 or 6 weeks ago there was a query about Michael Maguire's position as head coach at the Broncos?
Yeah, well, I'm sticking with my tip. I still think they can win it all if they get it all together, and they've just got an amazing backline. Wow. And then you got Reynolds who's steering them around as well as ever. Just signed a new deal, I think, for another year. So I think that there's more than enough talent there to overcome what's been a very disappointing Titans team.
And there's a bit of a form cider in 2025. The last time these two teams met earlier in the year, Broncos 44-14.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't be surprised with a similar score. It's going to be a Broncos smash-a-thon, I think. Yeah, they're a really good team. I mean, they've got 7 players back. I mean, wow. So, yeah, I think they're specials, the Broncos.
So certainly great times in rugby league at the moment, Paul. We've not only got State of Origin tomorrow night, but we've got the NRLW in full flight in round 2, and also the NRL with a great round of games for round 19.
And some new teams on the way in the next year or so. So the code's in great shape. Rude health, I think, as they say. So it's looking very good, the code of rugby league. And tomorrow night, as I said, tune in if you don't enjoy it. It's about the best we've got in the code. I think it's going to be an absolute showstopper. But I do think that the Blues will be too good.
And no guarantee this week, Paul?
No guarantee. I've got my bill safely hidden away. It's dangerous when I ring it. I'll let you know when it comes out again. I'll give you plenty of warning.
And not even a muted bell selection either.
Not even a muted tone. No. So I'm looking forward to this week. No need to get any bells out. It's enough bells and whistles as it is on this mouth-watering round of footy that's coming up starting tomorrow night.
All right, Paul. Well, for the people who are watching, we'd ask that they like the program, and they're watching in greater numbers. Paul, we set a record for number of views over the last week, so we must be doing something right.
Yeah, well, that's it. I no bell required, I think. So we're certainly enjoying a great round of rugby league this round, but more so the competition's never been closer, and you're seeing some real amazing talent. Some of the young talent coming through. When you look at that Raiders team, it's great signs for the future.
All right, and we'd also ask that the viewers also subscribe to the channel, because not only do you get to listen to the pearls of wisdom from Paul Dalligan about the NRL, but also you get to listen to the Gelding and I, who had a great 50% win rate, 100% place rate from That's Racing on Saturday. So we're also in great form. You get to listen to that one as well.
Double deal. I tell you, it doesn't get much better than that, Professor. So it's a great time to be alive.
It certainly is, Paul, and let's do it all again next week.
We will. Thank you.